Hello, Viking sports followers. So we're back with an interview today. We will be interviewing a snooker player today. So what we will do is we'll get him in, and we'll ask him some questions about how he's got into snooker, understanding a bit more about him and his career, what he's wanting to achieve. So we'll get Peter on in just a moment. So this is Peter Devlin, current snooker player, who's on the tour at the moment. And we'll get him on and we'll get started. So if you just give me a couple of moments and I'll invite him across and get him on. I just sent Peter an invite, so he should be with us in just a moment. Just wait for him just to connect up.
Hello.
Hello. You all right?
Not bad, you?
Yeah, good, thank you. How's practice been going this morning?
Pretty good, yeah. Not missed too much.
Yeah. Oh, good. So, firstly, thank you for coming on today. Really appreciate it. It's good for a lot of our young amateurs that are coming up and wanting to make that step and get on the tour and really get their hands stuck into it. So, without further ado, just really wanted to start off with how you actually got into snooker. To start with.
So, I loved it when I was a little kid. I was watching it on TV when I was probably 3 or 4. And, as a young kid, it was more just the fascination of watching all these different colours on a table and watching them hitting each other. And my dad always got me into it, and he built me a table when I was about 3 or 4, a little tiny one made out of wood, and I was running around copying what I saw on TV, pretending to be whoever was playing, putting the balls in the same place and potting them. And then he took me to the working men's club when I was about 6. Every week we'd go to the working men's club and play pool. And one of the things I'm really grateful for what my dad did was never let me win. He was always really competitive, and he would always beat me, and I would always cry and throw tantrums and break cues. And he would always take the piss out of me and laugh and just keep goading me and making me even more upset every time. And that gave me a massive competitive edge as I grew up, because then when you really do win for the first time, it means something. And you really, it gives you that sort of that competitiveness, which I think is one of the most important things for me, especially in sport, of course.
Yeah.
So after pool, I was getting better and better, and then I moved on to snooker. Saw an advert in the newspaper for snooker coaching in Walthamstow in London, and that was it. Started from there. I got a lot of positivity out of it. I really enjoyed it, and I suppose as an only child, especially, I was looking for something to keep me occupied. I loved sports. I played a lot of different sports, and you do a lot. You warm to and you gravitate towards something you get positivity out of. So not only did I enjoy snooker, but because I was getting good at it and receiving a lot of positive comments, that just slowly became the love, and that's where it started from. And then it became more and more, once a week, twice a week, and all the time.
Yeah, and was there anyone growing up that you really aspired to kind of want to become like? Was there a particular player?
Well, of course, as a kid, everybody wants to be Ronnie in my generation. So Ronnie was always the man. Grew up sort of watching mostly him. And then as I got to an age where I was actually understanding snooker more, I was always a big fan of Selby. Went to watch the Masters final in like 2010, and he made a really good comeback. And that was like the moment where I've gone from supporting Ronnie, like everybody does. Oh, Ronnie.
Yeah.
He was like 9-5 up, and then Selby's come back and won 10-9. And the reason I wanted Selby to win was because I wanted a longer match to happen, because I was paid for the ticket.
Yeah.
And then I thought, wow, he's got involved, and I really liked him from there. And so I like a mixture of styles, so I do enjoy watching everybody. But from when I was younger, it was always Ronnie, like it probably was for everybody.
Yeah. And with obviously playing on the tour, obviously you've been involved in a lot of the most recent tournaments that have been going. How was your experience when you first come onto the tour, and what was it like?
Well, I've had my dreams of what it would be like. It's not been obviously like that because of COVID-19.
Yeah.
But apart from COVID-19 business, it's been living the dream so far. I've really enjoyed it. It's been everything I'd hoped it would be. I've always believed deep down that I've got the ability to get there, but more importantly, I've always believed that I've got a game that suits the pro style more than the amateur style.
Yeah.
So I felt that the hardest thing for me to do would be to get on in the first place, which obviously it was, and it is extremely hard to get on. But now I'm on, I feel like I'm more in my comfort zone. The
Mm.
tables, the atmosphere, the spotlight, if you like. This is the sort of thing that I've dreamed of, and I wanted to play matches on TV, have crowds, get exposure. That was always the dream for me. Oh, well, one of the dreams. The dream is
Yeah.
still to go on further, but that's the sort of thing I've always wanted. I like the pressure, I like the crowds, and so I felt like if I ever got there, I'd settle quickly and I'd enjoy it. It was just a
Yeah.
matter of getting there. So now that I have managed to get there, it's been everything so far that I've wanted it to be. I've got, the first tournament I played in got to a last 16, which was amazing. I didn't expect that one.
Yeah.
Beating Williams on TV with a century was just another thing that's like, wow, where did that come from? Like, I hoped to do a decent start, but that went way over what I expected. And yeah, it was so far it's been what I've expected. It's extremely tough. There's a lot of great players, and you're gonna have to play really well and improve really fast to stay on, which I'm aware of.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of accounts of people who have had a horrible time on there. They've lost every match. They've not enjoyed it, and it's crushed their confidence. And I'm aware that that can happen to me. It can happen to everybody. It can happen to the best of us. But at the moment, I'm fortunate enough to say that I'm really enjoying it, and it's living the dream up to an extent because it's Milton Keynes. And it's kind of boring now.
And with regards to obviously next year, obviously hopefully fans will start to come back in. Obviously,
Hopefully.
there still are plans for the Masters to have fans in, and hopefully that will be the the stepping block to allowing fans going back in. But obviously, that's all still up in the air as we all know. So, with regards to your plans for 2021, what are you looking to achieve in 2021?
Well, we've got not that many tournaments left now. I was thinking about this like yesterday. Like now, the Championship League, which is the first tournament of 2021, is going to be exclusive to the top 25.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, come on, like, yes, they've earned their place in the top 25, but especially in these tough times, we could kind of do with some tournaments and some chances to make money.
Yeah.
And in the 18 tournaments on the calendar, 12 of them are for all players, and 6 of them are invitational for the top lot, which is great. They attract the crowds and they have earned the right to be there, but they're a lot more well off for money, and they're able to provide a lot easier than us low ranked players. So
Yeah.
it would be really useful if we had more tournaments, and I think there's only about 4 or 5 tournaments in 2021. So, and 2 of them are like the shootout and the new pro series. So I
Yeah.
doubt there'll be big money tournaments. So in terms of tournaments and ranking points, it's going to be a bit more difficult at the start of 2021. But I'm hoping that whatever tournaments are remaining, I can just keep getting a few wins, keep settling, keep learning, because there's so much to learn. And obviously, I want some deep runs in tournaments. I want to not just nick a bit here and there. I want to do what I did in the first
Yeah.
tournament, because it feels amazing to be part of such a big event, and it feels
Yeah.
amazing to be involved in such a thing. With all these names all around you in the draw, and you're amongst them. It feels great. So it would be really nice to keep mixing and to keep getting involved in tournaments, and obviously money and everything comes with that.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about it too much because it comes with the winning.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. And touching on that, obviously with the financial side, obviously a lot of players that come into it, obviously you've touched on, people find it very difficult, lose match after match, which obviously has a financial impact on the player themselves. How are you finding that? Do you have like a day job on the side at the moment as well, to obviously help fund with general living and day to day as well as your snooker, or is it full focus on your snooker at the moment?
So I'm fortunate enough to have pretty much full focus. I do a bit of work on the side, just maintenance of my mum's house, and keeping everything in order, just looking after general bits and bobs. But most of my time or nearly all of my time is devoted to snooker. So I'm
Yeah.
fortunate about that. I've had people helping me in the past with sponsorships here and there. Shout out to Harrison Z and to Swinton Pool Hall.
Hmm.
They've been really, really helpful this year. And it takes the pressure off. It's really, really useful, whether it be, entry fees, hotels, travels, it all adds up.
Yeah,
And Milton Keynes has been good in that sense. It's not too expensive. It's not too far from where I am,
yeah,
but it definitely does eat away at you if you're not winning.
yeah,
So there is obviously pressures on it, and I've been fortunate so far this year that I've had a chance to focus on the game. I've had a chance to just enjoy it without worrying about that sort of thing,
yeah,
and it really does help.
yeah. No, definitely. And with the sponsors there, obviously you've mentioned them there. How was it that you actually come about obtaining those sponsors? Because obviously we've spoken to several snooker players now on the tour, and they've said that that first initial stage of getting the sponsors and secondly maintaining them is very, very difficult. So how did you come about that? Just really
Well,
just give a heads up to some of our amateurs.
so it's obviously it's ridiculously difficult, and as an amateur, you're going to be very lucky to find anything because there's not much in the amateur game. I've managed to get on the tour, and now I'm in a position where I can ask. Um, I do believe I'm one of the most marketable players on the circuit, partly
Okay.
because I'm currently low ranked. So that means I'm not going to be that costly. I'm not going to be going around saying I want millions of pounds. Um, I don't know how much the top boys want, but I don't need much. I'm a small time player at the moment, but on top of that, I've got different strings to my bow. I've got a bit of rapping, which seems to be getting me quite a lot of popularity.
Yeah.
I was on Radio One the other week, which was really cool. So I've got something extra to give, I think. So for me, I always felt like I could find sponsors. However, I was wrong because even I couldn't. I went on LinkedIn, I did CVs, I wrote letters, I did lots of different things to try and find them over the years and didn't really have too much luck. I got bits and bobs here and there, but it's not easy at all.
Yeah.
In the end, the two people that have been helping me, like a lot of people will find, is just pure down to circumstance. Harrison Z is a suit makers who've been making suits for me, and I know the boss because he used to play snooker in Upton Park where I grew up playing, and he went into his business and I stayed playing snooker, and years down the line he's like, oh, you're still playing snooker? Yeah, I'm still playing snooker. Oh, how you doing? I'm doing really well. Yeah, let's make a suit together. And then we made a suit and it went from there. And now I mean, these brilliant suits, it makes you feel like really, really good when you're wearing something that nice. And then Swinton Pool Hall is, again, pure circumstance. One of my best friends, Josh Tommond, is from Manchester. Whenever I used to go to the Leeds Pro-Ams, because I went to every Pro-Am I possibly could, I stayed at Josh Tommond's house for a lot of them because I was a cheapskate and his mum cooked really well. Got a nice brew. I got looked after well. And we'd travel to the tournaments together in Leeds from Manchester. And the night before, we'd go to his local club and play snooker. And that's Swinton Pool Hall, brilliant place, really good atmosphere, I like it there. And Dave, boss man at the club, met me through there, got on really well, lovely, lovely guy, and and loved snooker. And then a few years later, since I got on the tour, he showed an interest to help, and that was really, really kind of him. So both my people that have helped have been pure luck and circumstance,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people will tell you the same thing because I made efforts, a lot of efforts to find sponsors over the years, and it rarely happens. Whatever you do, it's just unlikely.
Yeah.
They'll all just happen naturally, especially if you're good with people. If you're chatty and you meet people, you're giving yourselves a lot of options. Whereas if you're shy and quiet, then you're just not going to make those connections.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit just to do with being outgoing.
Yeah. Definitely. And at the moment, with like practicing and having someone there to support you along the way, what's your setup like at the moment?
No one's here supporting me.
No.
Empty, empty, empty. No, I've got good people around me. I've got coach, mentor, someone who's been around me from when I was very young, who's always believed in me and never gone away, always stuck by me. The dream is still world champion, world number one. And that will always be the dream. It's everybody's dream. And I've got somebody who's believing in me all the way whenever I don't. Um, and yeah, I've got supportive people. I've got great friends. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's always great to have someone in your corner or people in your corner in general that believe in you, sometimes more than you believe in yourself. and it keeps you going sometimes when you're down.
Yeah.
But in terms of practice, there's no one here picking balls out for me.
Yeah. And what has it actually been like in Milton Keynes? Because obviously all the tournaments have been there for the last 3, 4, 5 months. So what's that been like, being in the bubble and having set practice times that you have to book in, etc., etc.? What's
Well,
it been like?
you're gonna get my automatic generic response here, which is nobody likes Milton Keynes anymore. We're all bored of it. It's depressing, it's boring, and it's not giving us the buzz that we hope to get on the tour.
Yeah.
However, what an amazing job they've done to give us tournaments to play in. You
Yeah.
know, it's still, even though it's not special anymore, it's still a great venue. Tables are lovely. The arenas are fantastic. My first proper arenas, all the lights, all the setups, is brilliant. I love it. So in terms of a venue, it's brilliant. I really do like it. And they, like I said, they're doing a great job keeping tournaments going, and we're all really fortunate about that. So there is a positive and a negative. The positive is more important, really. We're getting tournaments to play in.
Yeah.
But the negative is just that, the UK Championship and the Shootout will feel like the same event. Not
Yeah.
quite, obviously, but, I have played the Scottish Open, Welsh Open, Northern Irish Open. It's the same tournament. The only thing that makes it different is the venue.
Yeah.
The format, everything's the same. Oh, the color of the lights is different,
Yeah.
which makes it. So it is the same, and it does get a little bit flat at times.
Yeah.
But I think for me on my first year, I'm appreciative, like still amazing opportunity. But I did want to experience the full shebang, the
Yeah.
crowds, the arenas. I was always hoping for that. So it's a shame that I haven't got that. Practice tables, not ideal in the sense of bookings, because you only get very short spaces, but there's just a lot of players to accommodate for, so it's difficult.
Yeah.
I need the practice tables because they're very different at the moment to what I'm playing on. So I do take advantage of, getting used to them as much as I can. There's a question here that says, "What's your favourite venue?" Well, I think it's Milton Keynes because my favourite venue, if we're talking ever, I suppose it would have to be Watford Coliseum for the Shootout, because that was awesome and there was a full crowd there, so that was the best. That was 2 years ago. But back to what I was saying before, so the practice tables is difficult. They used to let you book 2 practice sessions a day, as long as they were 4 hours apart. So I was always enjoying taking advantage of that. But now, because there's so many players and they're not getting availability, you're only allowed 1 a day now. So I get the reason, and it's the right reason, but it's just a bit because I'm not getting enough practice there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're doing everything they can, and it's so easy to say moan, which I suppose I sound like I've been moaning, but it's still really, really good.
Yeah, it's a difficult balance, isn't it? It's having the tournament still there, but obviously the first couple of tournaments are obviously still going to have that kind of buzz and atmosphere, despite not having a crowd there. And then the more that you repeatedly have some, a tournament there, it just becomes very dull and same for the players as well as it is for us. Seeing like you said, the Watford Coliseum, York Hall, all of these sort of places where they have different events running, they're not there at the moment. So it'll be interesting to obviously see what happens in 2021.
Perhaps would have been nice to spread the events out into 2021, because we did like 4 back-to-back events.
Yeah.
Maybe if we'd done 2 and then 2 more next year, it would have been nicely spread out. But yeah, it would have been. I think because it was one after the other, I think it was getting a bit much in Milton Keynes. Plus the fans back home watching on telly probably finding it a little bit repetitive, or losing track of tournaments, or getting bored of tournaments. So maybe spreading them out a bit nicer would have been better, because, like I said, 2021's a bit empty by the look of things.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think from us as like fans' perspective, everything has just been crammed into one. It just seems that it's one tournament after the other. It's very, very rare that you get so many tournaments. Literally the next day and the next tournament starts. So. But it'll be interesting, obviously, to see what happens with fans and different venues next year, and hopefully that will all.
I really hope we get a full set. I hope we get a full year of crowds and venues, and China as well. I'm disappointed about China. I hope we just get, I hope to be on the tour for a long time, but at
Yeah,
least I've got a minimum 2 years, and I'm really hoping that the 1 year, second year is going to be a full experience and not just a half or a distanced crowd of 10 people, or halfway through 2021 we get crowds. I want a full second year of everything, and that's
yeah,
my at least.
yeah. No, and I think it's the same for us as fans as well. We've got another comment in here from Darren Young, and he's put, "How many cues did you have until you found the one?"
Um, I've had 3 Qs in my life. I started off with one of them traditional ones that say Ronnie O'Sullivan on it, like the ones
Yeah,
that are punished up and all sticky. And then I think I was about 14, 15 when I got a John Paris traditional. Maybe 13 when I got a John Paris traditional off the local player in Walthamstow, Martin Wallace. Good old Martin. He sold it for me because he needed some things to make him feel better. Uh, so I bought that off him for 120, and he bought it for 300 because he needed the money. So I got a traditional cue, lovely. Thought it was going to be the one, but it started to get really thin at the top. It started to just wear out a little bit. Not sure what the problem was with it, but in the end, I changed to a John Paris Regal
okay.
when I was about 15, 16. Went into the shop because I'm not interested in all this buying in advance, because then you wait 3 years and then it turns up and you don't like it. So went into the shop, picked one up, took it home, tried it out. It was nice in the balls, but not so nice over long distance. So I popped back into the shop, switched it for a different one, took that one out, and that was it. I'm not a cue person. I don't know anything about my cue. I don't know the length or the weight. It's just a John Paris Regal, and I think it's probably best that way, because the more I know about it, the more it gets in my head, and the more I start, messing up my own head with, I need new cues, change cues, all this. I've got a cue. I'm happy with it,
Yeah,
and that's and
yeah,
when I did turn pro, people were saying to me, "Oh, why don't you get a new cue now?" And why don't you do this? And I'm thinking, why would you get a new cue when that one's got you where you are?
yeah,
The need for it.
yeah,
So I'll be sticking with this one. It might be a bit bent, it might be a little bit old, it might be grainy, but it's done the job and it's fine. It'll do.
yeah, yeah. No, definitely. And what sort of other equipment are you using? So obviously chalks, everyone's using different chalks. What's the chalk that you're using at the moment?
I am a converter. I have moved chalks. I was on the blue one. Um, I think I started the pro career on the normal blue chalk. I've got so many dirty looks as well. My first ever match, I played Sean Murphy on telly on the Championship League, and he was just walking around the table all like normal, and then he'd see a chalk mark and he'd go like cleaning it off,
Yeah.
like, and I don't know if he meant to look annoyed, but I could tell he looked annoyed, and I was just sitting there like, God, come on, not my fault. It's just a chalk. But I could tell he was annoyed that I'm messing up the table, and he's probably going to say I've got making kicks happen and all this sort of thing. So I was getting a lot of funny looks for using the same chalk, because that's all I ever used. I'd never tried anything else. And then I went to practice with Jimmy White, and he gave me Taum 2.0. And the only reason I never wanted to use it was because it was round, and I just thought it felt weird. But you do get used to it. I
Yeah,
tried the 2.0, no, didn't really get many kicks, and the most important thing for me, left a clean table, no chalk marks, and I thought that's really nice.
yeah,
But I did start to get quite a lot of miscues, and I was like, ooh, don't know about that. And I miscued on 113 on a max, and it just gets in your head. And I was like, I was getting an average of one miscue a day, and you can't afford that. So I went to Joe Perry and practiced with him, and I told him the same thing, and he gave me Town Soft, the one with the gold on the edge. This one, product placement. Hope you're watching. Send me free stuff. And it's a lot more powdery, not so grainy, and it's the same thing, but just not many miscues anymore. So I'm fine with that now. Looks nice.
yeah,
It's gold. It's a bit different. It's nice color, and it's just a chalk now in it. But if you do drop it, then it will roll forever.
yeah.
Never get it back.
Darren's just put, have you played Sean since your new chalk, so converting
I
over?
did, yeah. I played him last week in the Scottish Open in the second round, and unfortunately, I threw away a chance to go 3-1 up, and then I was 4-2. So that hurt a little bit. It was a shame.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used it and I didn't notice any dirty looks, which means he might have approved of my chalk.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. So, what is next for you? Obviously, going into 2021, what is the next tournament that you're going to be involved in? Do you know that yet? Don't
No,
know.
I think. Well, we'll start with the Upton Park Handicap. Um, definitely be doing that. Um, oh no, it's closed, isn't it? Yeah, everything's closed.
Yeah, everything's in lockdown again.
Well, I'll play an Upton Park Handicap when I can because I've missed them, and I think I think it's the Pro Series thing, the best of three group stage thing.
Yeah,
Um, Dave Lewis does some really good pro-ams, but again, with no current clubs being open, we've missed out on the pro-ams. But yeah, Dave does some great ones. So yeah, I'm one of them. I'll play everything I possibly can. Um, I think middle or end of January is the Pro Series thing, and that'll be the first tournament, the best of
yeah,
three. Um, so that'll be a long day of a lot of matches, which will be fun. It'll be different.
yeah,
And yeah, so I think that's the next tournament. But yeah, it'll just be practicing a lot over Christmas, going traveling, playing a few games, and playing any tournament that is available, which I doubt there is much. But
yeah. Perfect. Well, I want to wish you all the best for 2021, and hopefully it's a better year than it has been this year, and hopefully get some fans in there and get the tournaments that you know that you want and you dream of, and hopefully get China as well back on the map for 2021, as we've all missed those tournaments as well. So wish you all the best.
thank you.
And hopefully we'll see you out soon, and we'll catch up very, very soon as well.
Lovely.
All right, thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, mate, and well
All
done
right,
for doing
cheers.
what you're
Bye.
doing as well.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.